Okay.
With a strong final 30 minutes to beat Dallas 16-3 in the Hall of Fame game. Fair season continues with the Champaign and Athens County Fairs starting today. Tomorrow the Ross County Fair begins, and on Sunday activities get underway in Richland County and the Hartford Independent Fair. That's 30 miles northeast of Columbus. I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network.
Live and local conversation for the Ohio Valley continues shortly. Here on the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
First Fridays are returning to Center Market in Wheeling this August 6th. Join us for the street party featuring Eli and the Mojo Kings performing at 8 p.m. Before the show, you can visit Center Market specialty shops and have dinner at one of our quality eateries. Meet, shop, eat, and then party with Eli and the Mojo Kings on First Friday, August 6th at the iconic Center Market in Wheeling. Sponsored by Main Street Bank, Wheeling Convention and Visitors Bureau, and the City of Wheeling.
The celebration begins Friday, August 13th at Wheeling's Heritage Port with live music. Celebrate 20 years of the Heritage Music Blues Fest. This year's Blues Fest features blues superstars Ronnie Earl and the Broadcasters, 2021 Traditional Blues Grammy winner Bobby Rush, the rock and blues of Indigenous and Anna Popovich, and up-and-coming blues superstars Davey Knowles and Hannah Wickland, and many more. Heritage Music Blues Fest, Friday, August 13th through Sunday, August 15th. Tickets and info at heritagemusicfest.com.
Some people believe their kids don't need to go to the dentist because baby teeth don't matter, since they'll eventually fall out. Dr. David Kimberly, president of the Ohio Dental Association, is here to tell us more.
Actually, baby teeth are very important for your child's health and development. Healthy baby teeth help your child chew, speak, smile, and pay attention in school without the distraction of dental pain. Also, if a baby tooth is lost too early, the permanent teeth can shift into the empty space and make it difficult for the other permanent teeth to come in when they are ready. So it's critical to make an appointment for your child to see a dentist before going back to school.
ODA member dentists are located throughout the state, are dedicated to providing the highest quality care, are bound by the highest ethical standards, and obtain superior ongoing education and training. On your next visit, ask if your dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association and American Dental Association, so you know you're being treated by the best. To find an ODA dentist in your area, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Friday. Plenty of sunshine, a warm day with a high near 87. Overnight low of 67 degrees under partly cloudy skies. A lot of sunshine around for your Saturday with temperatures in the upper 80s. Have a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Informing and entertaining the Valley for over 25 years. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe in the 100 Days of Summer.
Temps are rising. The skies are lightening up a bit. 69 and clear skies now at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 65 and just some light fog outside the home studios here in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling, and 65 degrees at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Where have we been and where are we going today? Well, Governor Justice appoints a former coal lobbyist to the state PSC. The PSC essentially oversees rates for the energy industry and can give support to or take support away from certain kinds of energy, like coal. So is the governor's appointment, the governor a coal operator, is his appointment of a coal lobbyist just a coincidence? Or is it just another part of the 3 degrees of separation we have everywhere in West Virginia? We'll get into that coming up a little bit later on. An example of how important the PSC can be in determining coal policy. The AEP company, AEP, is now considering what it's going to do with the Mitchell plant, since they have a split decision about how long they should stay open between West Virginia's PSC and Kentucky's PSC, and they're co-owned by power companies here and in Kentucky. And they also have 2 other power plants in West Virginia. They're waiting for that state's, the Virginia's PSC ruling. So the PSC has a lot to say about how long power companies can, or how much coal is going to be burned and so on. And now you got another coal operator, Bill Rainey, formerly of the Coal Association, on the PSC. If we have a chance, we'll talk a bit more about that coming up a little bit later on. Also, we'll head into the weekend this hour with the Friday Funnies, the latest from late night comedy, some stand-up comedian bits, some entertainment news, all of that for you. Next hour, newspaper editor John McCabe and I will have the Friday Roundtable Review, top local news stories this week, and including the future of the Mitchell plant, license fee breaks for downtown Wheeling businesses, and the closing of a long-time Wheeling fast food restaurant. We'll get into all of that. Last hour, we talked with Josh Sward. He is the president of the West Virginia AFL-CIO about the unexpected death yesterday of the national AFL-CIO president, Rich Trumka, one-time head of the UMW, long-time head of the AFL-CIO. A powerful labor leader died of an unexpected heart attack, and we were reflecting on that. So that's a bit of what I have to offer you. If you want to get into the action, text me, 304-214-1600, 304-214-1600. That's the Watchdog Radio Network text line. Or if you prefer, I do have room open on the phone lines. You can use that for a while here at 304-232-8255, 304-232-TALK, and I'm happy to have you chat in and check in, and we can chat about some of that sort of stuff as well. So that's what I have. Tell me what you have, and we're off and running. 8:13 here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Second cup of coffee for the morning. Let it sit too long, Biff.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretending like I ordered iced coffee now because I let it sit too long. It's cold. Yeah, it's not going to work. I'm going to have to make more. I thought it was going to be good hot coffee, and I let it sit too long. You still drinking water today?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's 69 outside and 81 in here. Of course I'm going to go with water.
Come on, gotta be getting used to that 80-degree temperature in there now, right?
I'm getting tired of it. It's what I'm getting.
Not getting used to it, you're getting tired of it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's it.
Well, take a break. Go outside and take a smoke break.
I don't smoke.
Yeah, well, there's that too.
Yeah. No, that's
Take a fresh air break.
No, that's what I did at the top of the hour. Went outside and it was still looked like it was foggy here. I mean, it looks like once the fog clears, it's going to be a nice day.
Yeah, I think it is going to be a nice day. Going to mix the sun and clouds a little bit, but it'll be a nice day. All right, let's do a little COVID talk. We've been following some of the COVID stories every day. I lose track of the exact time, but a month ago, 6 weeks ago, Biff, all of the West Virginia color-coded map was green. We all were green. Everybody was green and happy. Green grows my valley. It was green acres, green pastures. All was wonderful. As of yesterday, on the DHHR's color-coded map, which I point out has absolutely no impact whatsoever. They just put it out, and you can see how bad off your county is in terms of COVID, but it doesn't mean that schools are closed or football can't happen or business. It means nothing. It means nothing. It's just the DHHR map. 19 counties are all that's left in the green now. Every single day of the last couple of weeks, more and more counties have fallen out of the green and have gotten less and less. Now, in our northern panhandle, first of all, a round of applause for Hancock County, because they actually went back to green. Hancock County had been yellow for several days. The entire panhandle was out of the green for a while, but now Hancock County has gone back to green. So good on Hancock County. They are in the green. Brooke remains in the yellow. Ohio County is gold. Ohio County is orange. Marshall County still is in the red. It's a bad color to be in. And Wetzel County is also in orange. So we've got green for Hancock, yellow for Brooke, gold for, I keep saying gold because I'm looking at the map, but it's actually yellow. Yellow for Ohio and Brooke counties. Ohio County is Wetzel. Ohio and Wetzel County are gold. And only 19 counties in West Virginia now are green. Only 19 are green. The numbers are dropping. Although, again, I want to give credit to Hancock County. They went back to green, so that's good. Let me see, I've got some other numbers here. Over half of the counties in West Virginia are experiencing what they're calling high transmission of the COVID virus. A majority in north central West Virginia, where that's one of the big concentrations. 26 counties in the state had high transmission in the last 1 week period, from last Wednesday to this Wednesday. High transmission of COVID, 26. Another 20 had substantial transmission, technical terms they use based on the exact numbers. So 46 counties are in the higher transmission categories. So something to think about there as the COVID continues to work its way through in West Virginia. In the country, as the coronavirus continues to work its way across the country, driven by the highly contagious Delta variant, and of course mainly because not enough of us are vaccinated, hospitalizations and deaths are up 40% from a week ago. Hospitalizations and deaths are up across the country 40% than they were a week ago. Daily cases, border to border, coast to coast in this country, have passed 100,000. We have not been at that number since last February. So the numbers are rising. Numbers of cases, numbers of hospitalizations, numbers of deaths, 40% in those last two categories in just the past week. Now, the thing to keep in mind, this is a national number I'm talking about, border to border, coast to coast. The problem is that 7 southern states account for almost half of all those bad numbers. Florida, Texas, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi. Those states, taken as a whole, account for half of all the new infections and new hospitalizations this past week. So everybody else is not nearly so bad. It's just the average is really moving things up. Here's the good news. in some parts of the states, of the United States, and primarily in areas where things have been pretty bad, like the states just talked about, there has been a significant increase in vaccination. In Texas, for example, a 90% increase in the number of people getting vaccination shots in the past week. Oklahoma, 82% increase in people getting the shots. Georgia, 66% increase in people getting the shots. Biffy, what this goes to point out is the governor, I think, was right a few weeks ago when he said when he was asked, what's it going to take to get people to get vaccinated? And I get news for you, it ain't baby dog giving away prizes. The governor at one point said, people are going to have to die. And I think you're seeing that. These are the states, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Georgia. These are some of the states where they've got really high hospitalization and death rates. Now people are going, you know what? I think maybe I better get vaccinated.
Well, and I'm sure the governor, didn't want to have to say that, number one, and number two, the fact that that's pretty much what it's come down to for people to get vaccinations is sad.
It is. But to me, the way I read that is, for a lot of people, this "I'm not going to get vaccinated" was a game. It was a political game. It was a, what's the phrase? They wanted to own the libs. Them damn libs want me to get vaccinated. I'm just not going to do it. Just like not wearing a mask. I'm not going to do it. They want me to do it. I'm not going to do it. That's my freedom, my liberty. When it gets personal, when you look up the street and down the street and behind you and in front of you, you go, holy crap, people are dying.
Yeah, when your next door neighbor or neighbor that lives close by, that you've probably been there for years with, and when they pass, and then suddenly, might be someone down the street or whatever, and you lose another one, and then it's finally, oh, well, okay, maybe I better get it now.
And we're seeing more media coverage of folks who are in the hospitals, very, very sick, now looking the camera in the eye and going, I didn't get vaccinated. I was one of those ones who said vaccinations, what difference does it make? I sure as heck wish I'd gotten vaccinated now. When you see the actual, I guess, I don't know. I guess, Biff, people, do they not believe that you're going to get sick from this thing? Do they not believe it when I don't know I don't know what the death count is now in this country. Several months ago, it was over 600,000. I don't know where we are now. I should and I don't. But 600,000 plus people have died from this. It's not a game. I don't know. Do people think we were just making it up?
I think there's a percentage that believes that, but again, it goes back to what we've said numerous times before. I just think people are so set in their ways that no matter what you say or no matter what's happening around them, you're not going to be able to convince them to get the vaccination, and that's the way it is. They're just not budging. They're stuck in their ways, and they've got this idea, and that's it, and they're going forward with it.
I have seen several TV interviews with folks who have been just that. Woman who's got COVID and said, I wish I'd gotten the vaccination. Why didn't you get the vaccination? Honestly, there was no real reason. She says, it's not that I have a political objection to it, just really didn't get around to it, kind of thing. Didn't think it was that big a deal. So I think you're right, Biff, to some extent. But I'm going to be a bit more cynical than you. I think an awful lot of people have turned everything into what I call politics. It isn't really Democrat versus Republican, but have turned everything into a political statement. I'm a conservative. The libs want us to get vaccinated. I'm not going to get vaccinated. Well, it's, the COVID virus is not a liberal or conservative virus. It's a virus that honest to goodness, it doesn't, before it, kind of rests in your nasal cavity, the COVID virus doesn't first take a little detour to the county clerk's office to see how you're registered. It really doesn't.
It doesn't discriminate.
No. And so, and I think, I think, and this is just me interpreting it, I don't see specific statistics, I see anecdotal evidence. I think a lot of people felt it was kind of a game. I'm going to show those liberals. Biden wants to get vaccinated. I'm not going to get vaccinated. And it was just sort of a game until suddenly they can't breathe, or their kid goes to the hospital, or their neighbor is dead. Go back to Governor Justice. This baby dog thing was a pretty stupid contest. Hasn't done anything to really help vaccination rates. But the governor's statement, I thought, was a good one. When are people going to finally decide to get vaccinated? When people start dying. And again, look at those hospitalization and death rates I was talking about. Nationwide average, 40% increase in hospitalizations and deaths in the past week. And almost all of them in states with very low vaccination rates. People are now coming wise. And I think the next round of debate is going to be, should there be, I think we've probably gone past the forcing a mask mandate. We're not going to see too much of that going back. We may see some of that in schools. I don't know. I think we've gone past that. The question now is, do you mandate the vaccine? CNN fired 3 employees this week who came to work having not been vaccinated. CNN has a policy: you must get vaccinated unless you have an actual medical exemption. Being vaccinated at CNN is mandatory for people who go into the office or out in the field where they come into contact with other people. And they fired 3 folks who did not get vaccinated. So that's CNN. There is talk at the federal level of perhaps requiring vaccinations in all nursing homes. And I know this is going to be a huge fight. How can you force somebody to do this? But if people aren't choosing to get vaccinated, then we got to maybe, I hate to say choose for them. Boy, that sounds paternalistic, but.
Well, and the other thing I think we're going to have to think about, and you're kind of hearing talk of this now, are we going to need a booster? There's that.
Yes. Yes, I think Moderna came out yesterday and said that they're kind of eyeing up that by maybe winter or so you will need a booster on the Moderna shot. It's not indefinite yet, but that's a possibility. Dr. Fauci and others have said it is likely at some point you may need a booster shot. We're just sort of working our way through how long does the vaccine stay in your system. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we don't end up having to get these shots like we do flu shots every year,
Imagine the uproar that would cause.
Yeah, yep. But again, doing a weighing thing here. Get a shot, die. Get a shot, get intubated, I saw a Facebook meme this morning. It showed someone being intubated where they put they have to put that tube through your mouth, down your throat to help you breathe. And I have had that happen. I've had that. You don't want that. No.
I'm sure that's not a delightful experience.
It's a terrible experience. And I do speak from experience on that. It is. So I saw a meme. There was a picture of someone being intubated, and it showed how that tube goes down your mouth and curves around and goes down your throat. And it said, this is intubation. It's a little more uncomfortable than wearing a mask. You just sort of have to balance it. I saw a video this week, Biff. It made me cry. 9-year-old boy in the hospital. Now, this happens a lot, but this one was just on video. 9-year-old boy, he's got bad COVID. And, of course, one of the things that they try to do is to keep the fluid in the lungs moving. So this kid's got a big, like a vest around him which is just being perpetually moved up and down. It's like a giant vacuum cleaner around his chest just to keep his lungs from, hardening up. And he's 9 years old, and I looked at it and I thought, a 9-year-old kid should not have to go through this.
Think if you have a third grader, because that's probably what we're talking about at 9 is a third grader.
That's about right. Yep. And do you want that kid to be in the hospital going through some of these things that you have to go through? Get the vaccination. Because it's just, I'm just amazed. I'm stunned. I don't know what to do. If people would get the shot, it is free, it is easy, it is available. Okay? Right now, there's no waiting in lines. There's no cost. You go to the health department, or if they're having vaccine clinics someplace, you go, you say, I want the shot. Boom! There it is. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow. And you go home. And then you're vaccinated. And you wait a couple of weeks because it takes that long sort of to kick in. And life is good.
Yeah, you get done, you wait 15 minutes to make sure nothing happens to you, and you go back home and you go about the rest of your day, and that's it.
And it's just not, it's free, it's easy, it's available to everybody over the age of 12 right now. Just get it. And then if everybody would just get it, if 70% of us nationwide would get it, and we have actually a 70% average nationwide. The problem is some states are much, much higher, and then you have these states that are very, very low. But if we hit that number, then the herd immunity they talk about kicks in, and then we beat the baby. We beat, Justice talks about, I've seen the enemy. I've seen the enemy. I have seen the enemy. And I've looked him in the eye, and I see him coming. It's not a bad analogy. Vaccinations will beat the enemy. All right, I must get off my soapbox, I guess. I want to share some of those numbers with you. 19 of West Virginia's 55 counties are in the green. Only 19 are now in the green. 40% increase nationwide in deaths and hospitalizations from a week ago. Almost all of that in the key southern states that I mentioned earlier. So, for God's sake, if you haven't gotten vaccinated, go do it. And if your kids haven't gotten, if they're over 12, do it. And hopefully at some point soon they'll come up with a vaccine that's acceptable for those under 12. We're getting ready to go back to school. And that has the potential for being another spreader event if we're not very careful about it. All right, I know some of you are just sick and tired of hearing me talk about this, but this is the world we're living in. These are the things we've got to contend with. 8:32, 28 till the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. 69, Biffy, I think it was. Yeah, 69 degrees at the airport, 65 here at my home studios, 81 inside Biff's studio. That's just for Biff to worry about. We're the Watchdog Morning Show. Got the Friday funnies coming up. We'll have a little bit of comedy for you, late night comedy, a couple of stand-up comedy bits, got some entertainment news. All of that's coming up after we check into the newsroom from the Big 7 WTRF TV.
The WTRF Channel 7 News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Now it's time.
All right, Biff, we should do some comedy here. Get the late night comedy bit ready. And let me see what else we've got here. If we'll use, there is no late night comedy. Shoot. Then I may use both of the stand-up comic bits from from Wise Brothers, George Carlin and Eric Lydon. Huh. No late night comedy. That's very unusual. Yeah, I never thought about that. Let me look at Pulse. I don't think they have any audio today. We did the celebrity gossip yesterday. I don't think they're doing back to movie previews yet. Didn't we play it yesterday? Do you still have it? Okay, we can do that then.
The Metro News Sports Desk, I'm Kyle Wiggs.
Hi, this is Hoppy Kercheval. Join me weekdays at 10:06, right after the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe for Statewide Talkline. I'll have guests, conversations, texts, phone calls, and all the big stories affecting West Virginia. So tune in weekdays right here on FM 98.1 and FM 97.7, The Watchdog.
Who wants craft beer? Saturday, August 21st, the Mountaineer Brewfest is back at Wheeling Heritage Port, showcasing craft beers from West Virginia's finest brewers. With great food, live entertainment, and many more craft beer selections in our beer garden. It's a wild and wonderful time, and you don't want to miss out. Proceeds benefit a Special Wish Foundation. Get your tickets now at MountaineerBrewfest.com. Brought to you by Wheeling Island Hotel, Casino, Racetrack, and the UPS Store.
Are you or your loved ones facing a serious legal battle? The law office of Paul Harris wants you to know you aren't alone. Do you need someone that's not afraid to go to trial and fight for your rights? Attorney Paul Harris and his team are willing to go where most firms are not. The courtroom. With a successful track record in civil litigation, criminal defense, including tax issues and healthcare fraud, Harris Law Office will fight for their clients by offering the most aggressive representation in and out of court. Call Paul Harris at Harris Law Office for a free consultation. 304-232-5300.
Introducing our new redesigned 7 News app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design, an easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content, and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tap, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video. To get the new WTRF 7 News app, just update the latest version or download the WTRF 7 News app in your Apple or Google Play Store by searching WTRF.
The annual Wheelin' Feelin' Chili Cook-Off is right around the corner. Join us August 7th from noon to 6 for the Ohio Valley's best chili. Stop on down at Wheeling's Heritage Port to enjoy great food, an antique car show, and live music featuring the New Age Adinas and Eli and the Mojo Kings. The Wheeling Feeling Chili Cook-Off is an International Chili Society sanctioned event, and all proceeds benefit the United Way of the Upper Ohio Valley. Saturday, August 7th at Wheeling's Heritage Port from noon to 6, rain or shine. See you there.
Hey, I'm going to the kitchen. Can I grab you a Coors Light?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Huh. I never knew there was a zip line in my fridge.
Hey, buddy!
You got 2 Coors Lights up there?
Always brewed down to 34 degrees. With a taste as cold as the Rockies, only Coors Light gives you refreshment every time.
Here you go, 2 Coors Lights.
Awesome, man. Wow, these are really cold.
That's the only way I deliver it.
Sure, I mean, you being a mountain climber and all,
Yep,
you probably need a pretty warm coat in there, huh?
yep.
Hey, Ben!
Yeah!
Ask him if he has any nachos.
You got any nachos in there?
No.
Just icy cold Coors Light?
Yep.
That makes sense. It is the Rockies.
Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. With great beer comes great responsibility.
As county school systems in West Virginia return to the classrooms, athletes will be returning to the field. And once again, Metro News will be there to keep you informed. Fred Persinger, Dave Jecklin, and Joe Bricado are geared up and ready for another exciting season of the High School Sports Line. Get the latest scores and news along with player and coach interviews. Wednesday nights at 7:06. The High School Sports Line starts August 25th on this Metro News station and online at wvmetronews.com.
You can watch a video cast of our show every morning on Facebook Live or on our website. Plus, check archives of all of our videos on the Watchdog YouTube channel. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
The heat was hot and the ground was dry, but the air was full of sound. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, because there ain't no one for to give you no pain.
8:41, 19th of the hour, 69 at the airport, 65 of the home studios. Morning fog is pretty much cleared off now, and clear skies outside. Going to be a mixture of sun and clouds today, mid-80s for our high. This is going to be the Friday Funny segment. We'll have some comedy, George Carlin among others here, with some comedic bits coming up in a minute or two, plus some entertainment news. This story, however, is neither funny nor entertaining, Biff. It's just, wow. You stop to think about it, and it's just, wow. An Oregon man has set the record for, and really, I mean, I hate to even phrase it as setting the record for, it is simply, it's the highest ever recorded. An Oregon man has been sentenced to 13 months in prison for DUI, reckless driving, and fleeing in conjunction with a hit-and-run accident. When he was arrested, his blood alcohol, 0.778. That is more than 9 times the legal 0.08 limit. 0.778.
How's he still alive?
Well, that's the question I have. In all seriousness, that was the question that came to my mind. Somewhere before that number, don't you go comatose and dead? I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm serious. How do you live at a 0.778 level? Apparently, some folks keep track of this kind of stuff. The website, The Smoking Gun, said the previous high blood alcohol content ever reported was 0.72, recorded by an Oregon woman in 2007, and a South Dakota woman in 2009 had a 0.708. Those as well, I would ask, how could you not be dead at that level? But a 0.778, I mean, you get up to, you get past a 0.2? Or I don't know what the number is, but, okay, 0.08 is legally drunk to drive. But it isn't necessarily for everybody stumbling around terrible drunk. 0.12 or something begins to get stumbling around horrible drunk. 0.2, I think, gets you sick drunk. Again, I'm picking numbers, but Somebody who has more experience in this may want to correct me, and you can do that at 304-214-1600. But .778, Biff.
How are you even able to function?
Stand.
To walk,
Stand.
to even,
Yeah.
I could have said if you, okay, they found him passed out somewhere, or how are you even at that point able just to move?
He was arrested for DUI. Well, okay, that's because he had such a high level. Reckless driving and fleeing, which it was a hit-and-run accident. So, he was upright. He got behind the wheel of a car somehow, turned the car on, put his foot on the gas. How could you do that at the level? You're right. My thought would be at .778 or .622 or .514 or any of those. At my point, I would think you would be passed out on the ground. Maybe not dead. I would think you'd be dead, but maybe not dead. But literally, how could you stand? How could you get behind the wheel of a car?
Did it say how old he was?
Let me look and see. It does not say, no.
Because I wonder if I don't know how big of an influence it would be in this situation, but if he was a young guy, okay, maybe. But is he a middle-aged guy?
It doesn't say. It doesn't say. And look, I also know that there are people, regardless of what the law is, there are people whose alcohol tolerance is greater than others, right?
But to be
functioning alcoholics can drink a whole lot and still function, but not that. This is a physical. This just doesn't it knock your system out?
I wouldn't think at that level that you would. You would be able to do anything.
Yeah, but there it is. So I guess it's a water cooler talk. You can say, hey, I guess we don't have water cooler talk anymore. People don't go to the office, let alone talk around the water cooler. But wherever you have your gossip anymore, I guess hey, by the way, did you know that the highest recorded level of a DUI arrest was .778? But I would think the conversation then would be, how is the guy alive? How is he alive? It's a good point, Biffy. I'm going to see if I can do a little more research on this, though, and see if I can find what his age was. And I'll be curious to see if he had been... Was this his first DUI? Probably not, my guess. It was not his first time driving under the influence. Look, you don't hit .778 the first time out drinking, right? Now, it may have been the first time he was caught. I don't know. But here's my guess. My guess would be the guy's already got multiple DUI arrests anyways. Just a guess. I don't see. The story doesn't say that, but that's my guess.
I'm guessing this isn't his first time.
That would be my guess as well. All right, I just thought I would share that with you. Like I said, it's not. We're into the Friday funny segment of the show. There's nothing funny about that at all. But it just hit my desk here a minute ago, and it's like, you've got to be kidding me. All right, want to do some quick entertainment news, Biffy?
Yeah, we can do that. There it is.
Michael Douglas, one of the better known and most prolific actors, is in the cable series The Kaminsky Method. When he signed on, he tells Variety Fair he knew it was going to be tough. He said of the Netflix show, one of the reasons I wanted to do was for comedy, because I've never done a lot of comedy. It never gets the proper respect that it's due. It's much more difficult to do than comedy. Michael Douglas said he had to just let go and be funny. I like characters. I hide behind characters. This was an effort to be truthful to myself and to trust the characters and the writing, and it was scary. So he says that comedy can be even more difficult than drama. Michael Douglas, well known. Kathy Griffin, really sad story, has talked this week about developing lung cancer. She's going to have to undergo surgery. She says that she's on the mend after having half her lung removed. I'm raising my hand. I can understand that. I had the exact same thing. She says the pain and recovery is more than she anticipated. Her former drug addiction was affecting her recovery, which probably is true. That's very, very likely. But she says, I've been a year clean and drug-free, so I won't take any pain pills. But it's difficult. She's 60 years old, hopeful she'll not need to go through chemo or radiation, and will have normal function with her breathing. I had a large part of my lung removed way back in 80, 81, somewhere around there. The recovery was difficult. I didn't do the things ahead of time. They tell you before the surgery, Biff, to do a lot of these breathing exercises to get your lungs used to, what's going to happen. Didn't bother with that. Why would I do that? And then that made the pain a whole lot worse. But I wish Kathy Griffin well. I know a lot of people don't like her. She's a hard to take comedian, but I know people don't like her. And real quick, let's check some of the latest salacious celebrity gossip here from our friends at The Pulse.
It's your salacious celebrity scoop.
Trying to find love, and her love life is haywire. But there's no accuracy to this tale. And finally, a source tells OK Magazine that Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck are reading scripts in hopes that they can find a new project to star in together. Cue Geely and Jersey Girl. We're all ears, and we'll see if this actually comes to fruition. That's your salacious celebrity scoop. We'll catch you next week after we dig through the tabloid trash.
All right, Beth, I have two questions for you. Number one, do I have to take a break?
No, we are good.
And number two, did Clearview Rich stay with us?
No.
He did not. Okay, sorry about that, Rich. I didn't catch the note from Biff that you were on the line until too late. I am sorry, my fault. Biff alerted me in time. I just didn't look at my screen in time to check it out. Every Friday, I try and do a little bit of the Friday funnies, I call them, a little bit of humor and laughter, trying to set us off into the weekend. It used to be, when I would do the Friday funnies years and years ago, there were a couple of comics that showed up almost every week. One of them would be Bill Cosby. And playing Cosby bits isn't quite the same as it used to be, so I don't do that. But another one of the frequent comedians I would often share with you on the old Friday funnies is one I'm sharing with you right now. One of the greatest comedians of all time, as not to mention a social commentator in his comedy, and that is George Carlin.
That's all you've got here, folks. Mile after mile of mall after mall. Many, many malls. Major malls and mini malls. They put the mini malls in between the major malls. And in between the mini malls, they put the mini marts. America the Beautiful. One big transcontinental commercial cesspool. And how do the people feel about all this? How do the people feel about living in a coast-to-coast shopping mall? Well, they think it's just dandy. They think it is cool as can be, because Americans love them all. That's where they get to satisfy their two most prominent addictions, shopping and eating. Millions of semi-conscious Americans, day after day, shuffling through the malls, shopping and eating, especially eating. Americans love to eat. They are fatally attracted to the slow death of fast food. Hot dogs, corn dogs, triple bacon, cheeseburgers, deep fried butter dipped in pork fat and cheese whiz, mayonnaise, soaked barbecue, mozzarella, patty melts. Americans will eat anything. If you were selling sauteed raccoons on a stick, Americans would buy them and eat them. Especially if you dipped them in butter and put a little salsa on them.
And he's right. I think he actually called it right there. Yeah. The thing about Carlin, Carlin went through several stages of his career. In his early days, and I suspect this came from his early days. Let me see, no, it doesn't tell me exactly when he recorded that. In his early days, he did what's called observational comedy in a very funny way, just like he did right there. As time went by, he became a little more socially aware, and a lot of his later comedy, it was funny stuff, but it reflected on politics and the stupidity of society in general. One of the favorite lines I remember from one of George Carlin's bits was he was talking about how we the people are just peons. There is an elite, a wealthy elite, a power elite that runs the country, and we're just peons. And I remember him saying, doesn't make any difference if you're a blue-collar worker, white-collar worker, pink-collar worker, it doesn't make any difference what color your shirt is. And the line I loved, there's a giant club out there, and we ain't in it. And I think that so often is true. I don't know that it's true, but it certainly feels that way. Doesn't it feel that way, Biff, that like there's a giant club out there, somebody's pulling the strings, to quote the puppet master, somebody's pulling the strings, and it ain't us.
It's not us, that's for sure.
It ain't us. So I loved Carlin again. There were two that were my go-to comedians back in the old days, Cosby and Carlin. And Cosby, can we still? I mean, serious question. Can we still play Cosby's comedy bits and laugh at them, Biff, or because they were funny? I mean, they were funny bits. Or is his work too badly tainted because of who he is and what he did?
Are you talking if you can play him in your own time?
Well, I'm just...
Because, I mean, I think if it's your own time, yeah. I mean, I think you can.
I guess it's a philosophical question. I guess it's actually a real question here, too. I have never played a Bill Cosby bit on the radio since he got involved in all these troubles. Again, I used to play them almost every week. He had some great classic bits, the Noah bit, and just so many that I just loved. And I don't play them on the radio. But I guess it's more philosophical. Can we be entertained by the work of someone that we now know was perverted? Is that the right word to use for Cosby? A predator. Can we be entertained by the same work that we used to think was funny, but now we know the guy who is doing it was a predator? And I don't know.
I think it's more of an individual thing.
Yeah.
I don't think you can, you can put it in a group. I think that's a question that as an individual you have to answer.
Yeah. I have all the Cosby comedy albums. Of course, I have them still as albums, records to play. I have a few old Cosby CDs, but I have the old Cosby records from his early days when he did things like My Brother Russell, Whom I Slept With, through the Noah albums, through Fatherhood, which was again a true. When he did the fatherhood bit, it was like exactly like my wife and I having kids. When he would say to his kids, "I brought you into this life, I can take you out." It was all funny stuff. But I haven't listened to him in a long time. And I just don't know that I could listen and laugh the way I used to, even though the bits themselves were funny. They're still the same bits. His observational humor, his relational humor would be the same. But now it's overtoned with Cosby the Predator. I don't know that I would be able to laugh anymore. I don't know. If you want to tell me what you think, you can text me 304-214-1600, 304-214-1600. Well, coming up next hour, it's our usual Friday roundtable. John McCabe and I will kick around the Ohio Valley news of the week and find a few other matters to probably talk about as well. That's straight ahead. After we check in with ABC and they cover the world next. It's 69 degrees and clear skies right now here on the Watchdog Morning Show for a Friday.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
From ABC News.